Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about a busy word, a presidential predicament, a singer with a lovely voice and nearly hypnotic delivery, and one of her songs. So grab your favorite cuppa. Sit back and let's see what we have for February the 10th. Hi there, and welcome to this day in history for February 10th. February 10th is the 41st day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, with 324 days remaining to the end of the year, 325 if it happens to be a leap year. Today's word is kinetic. Kinetic is an adjective that means relating to or resulting from motion. For example, the kinetic energy of the moving car was converted into heat when the brakes were applied. Characterized by movement or active energy, as in the dancer's kinetic performance captivated the audience. Because the word kinetic is about motion, you might see it in biology, as related to the movement of an organism in response to external stimulus. You might see or hear the word kinetic in philosophical discussions relating to the force driving life forward. One might use the word kinetic as sort of a slang word to mean frantic or busy, like a kinetic toddler. A use we've been hearing more lately in various commentaries is in more of a military meaning relating to active warfare or the use of lethal force, as in, if negotiations fail, things may get kinetic. Use of the word kinetic can range from a kinetic sculpture that spins gracefully in the wind to a classroom with a kinetic atmosphere buzzing with students eager to participate, to a movie with kinetic action that keeps viewers on the edge of their seats. The word kinetic comes to us from Greek, words that mean moving, putting in motion, or to move. Interestingly, related words are cinema, which has to do with moving pictures, kinesics, which has to do with the study of body movements such as gestures or facial expressions as a form of communication, and kinesiology, the study of principles of mechanics and anatomy in relation to human movement. First known use of the word kinetic is in the 1860s. Kinetic. Today's word kinetic was suggested by YouTube viewer at ddally8851. Thanks, ddally. And if you have a word you'd like to learn more about in this Word of the Day segment, drop it in the comments. We'll take a look at it. And with that, this is the birthday of singer-songwriter Roberta Flack, born February 10th, 1937 in Black Mountain, North Carolina. She grew up in Arlington, Virginia, in a musical family, sang in the church choir. She took an early interest in piano, playing from the age of 9, and was awarded a full music scholarship at Howard University. She taught school, taught piano privately, and began performing in clubs, first accompanying singers on piano, and then playing popular tunes and accompanying herself on piano. She soon became a popular performer due to her soulful voice and emotive delivery. She achieved significant acclaim with chart-topping hits like The First Time Ever I Saw Your Face, Killing Me Softly with His Song, and Feel Like Making Love. Roberta Flack is the first artist to win the Grammy Award for Record of the Year in 2 consecutive years, 1973 for The First Time Ever I Saw Your Face, and 1974 for Killing Me Softly with His Song. It was her debut album, First Take, released in 1969, that featured the hit, The First Time Ever I Saw Your Face, which gained widespread popularity after its inclusion in Clint Eastwood's 1971 film Play Misty for Me. Her collaborations with Donny Hathaway produced memorable duets, including Where Is the Love and The Closer I Get to You, both of which received critical and commercial success. Her 1973 album, Killing Me Softly, solidified her status in the music industry with its title track becoming one of her signature songs. Her influence extended into the subgenre of contemporary R&B known as Quiet Storm, and she's recognized for her interpretations of songs by artists like Leonard Cohen and members of the Beatles. Her contributions to music have left an indelible mark, inspiring countless artists and captivating audiences worldwide. Ms. Flack retired in 2022, but her legacy lives on in her music. Roberta Flack. The 25th Amendment deals with issues related to presidential succession and disability. It clarifies that the vice president becomes president as opposed to simply acting as president if the president should die, resign, or be removed from office, and it established the procedures for filling a vacancy in the office of vice president and for responding to presidential disabilities. Interestingly, we were just talking about this yesterday with William Henry Harrison. It had been previously assumed or suggested that the vice president would become acting president upon a president's death. Harrison's vice president, John Tyler, though, insisted that he had not simply assumed the duties, but that he had succeeded to the presidency and declined to acknowledge any documents that referred to him as acting president. Interestingly, Tyler also felt that his vice presidential oath of office should suffice and that he shouldn't have to take the presidential oath, but those around him were able to persuade him that being formally sworn in as president would remove all doubts, and he took the presidential oath, was officially granted the title of president, and moved into the White House and assumed full presidential powers. This event established what has been called the Tyler precedent of succession and has been used 7 times since then, for a total of 8, to promote the vice president upon the death of the president. This practice had become a customary procedure, but not codified in law. When President Kennedy was assassinated in 1963 and Lyndon Johnson was elevated to president, concerns arose around the fact that Lyndon Johnson had already had a heart attack before, so there were concerns about his health. When Johnson became president after President Kennedy's assassination, the country would be without a vice president until January of 1965, and the next 2 people in line of presidential succession were 71-year-old Speaker of the House John McCormick and 86-year-old Senate President Pro Tem Carl Hayden. Congress had already been working on issues around presidential succession with not much progress, but after the Kennedy assassination, they really buckled down and started working on the 25th Amendment. The 25th Amendment addresses not only presidential succession, but also sets out arrangements for the appointment of a vice president without having to wait until the next election. They got that thing hammered out, sent it out to the states for ratification, and the 25th Amendment to the Constitution was ratified on February 10th, 1967. The wheels of progress grind slowly sometimes. Today's song is The First Time Ever I Saw Your Face by Roberta Flack. This lovely song was actually written in 1957 by British political singer and songwriter Ewan MacColl. It proved to be a popular song among artists and was recorded by over half a dozen musical artists before Roberta Flack sang it in 1969. Interesting story about this one. If you've ever seen the Clint Eastwood movie Play Misty for Me, you may remember hearing this song in that movie. The story goes that the song had been released, and Clint Eastwood was driving down the LA freeway when he heard it on the radio. He called Ms. Flack on the phone and said he was making a movie about a disc jockey and wanted to know if he could use her song in the movie. She said yes, but she wanted to record it again as she felt it was too slow. He said, "No, it's not." The First Time Ever I Saw Your Face was released the first time on her album First Take in 1969, and then as a single in March of 1972 when Mr. Eastwood put it in the movie, and oh baby did it take off. It hit number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 in the spring of 1972. First Time Ever I Saw Your Face by Roberta Flack. Link in the description. How about that? By the way, I had a FaceTime with my daughter and granddaughter yesterday, and when I picked this cup up during our call, she said, "That's my favorite cup." Now, before we sign off, I'd like to leave you with a quote by Theodore Roosevelt, who said, "Do what you can with what you have where you are." Have an amazing day, and I'll see you next time. And I think that's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with a link in your email, messaging, or social media. If you enjoy this series, you can check out the playlist that contains these videos. I'll put a link to that in the description. That playlist lives on YouTube, so for other platforms, I'll include a link to my blog page. It's called No Really. You can also find me on Rumble, BitChute, and Odyssey. All those links in that description. Alrighty, that's all I can think of right now. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.